in September 2020 alone, 875,000 women versus 216,000 men exited the workforce. Think about that for a minute and think about the ripple effect that has, not just in the long term, but the short term to women and their careers and the workforce in general and just society in general. So again, just going through this, 1 in 4 women, not just exiting the workforce, but also considering reducing their work hours, moving to part-time roles, switching to what they might feel are less demanding jobs, and then taking leaves of absences from work. So again, this has short-term and long-term effects. And many times, even though our roles, have changed so much in society, it's more acceptable for maybe, men to stay at home and be the primary caregiver. It still many times falls upon women. They're really looked upon as the primary caretaker, and sometimes it's not even for children. Many women are taking care of their aging family members, their aging parents, or even sometimes grandparents. There's a lot of burnout in this. There's a lack of work-life balance. And many times women feel that they always have to be on. And when it comes to the workforce, I've seen many news stories where companies just, they're not being flexible. Even though there's been this shift to working from home, there should be a more positive spotlight on work-life balance, but it's almost having the opposite effect, where again, women feel like they have to balance everything, be available all the time, be on overtime. And, they feel like almost like the employer's doing them a favor if they're allowing them to work from home. And many women feel that their performance is being negatively judged because of some of these factors. And women also feel as if they can't, in these cases, can't bring their whole self to work. So there have been recent studies on this most recently, and I got a lot of this data from a study that McKinsey and Company did in conjunction with the Lean In Foundation. So as I mentioned earlier, women leaving the workforce has long-term repercussions. We've made so many strides over these past years as women, especially in STEM careers. And a lot of this is going to have reverse gains for women. There's also going to be decrease in the progress that we've made towards gender pay equity. And then also studies overall show that we as women contributing to the labor force, if we sort of opt out and we don't participate, this impacts the economy and our overall gross domestic product. So that's why it's so important for women to continue in the workforce and really look at STEM jobs, because they provide a lot of opportunity. And that's what I always like to say. STEM equals opportunities, especially for women. There's wonderful pay. There's a lot of flexibility. There's diversity of career paths. There's not one way in which to get to a really sort of good STEM career. And then, education doesn't always equal employability. Just to give you some statistics, we're, Johnson College, we're a 2-year technical college. So we have 15 programs of study, everything from automotive technology to veterinary technology, electronic engineering technology, advanced manufacturing, which focuses on automation and artificial intelligence and robotics. And just to give you an idea on some of the sort of, starting and median annual salaries, they do tend to be higher, as I mentioned earlier, for STEM jobs. So, an electromechanical technician can make over $58,000. An electrician can make over $56,000. A radiologic technologist can make over $62,000. So again, especially if you're looking to stay in this area, these are very good family sustaining wages, very lucrative career paths. And just to give you an example of some of what we see here at the college, we have HVAC interns making between $19 and $21 an hour. That's as an intern. So they're still in school. They're getting their credits for school. They're getting their internship in, and they're making money during doing that internship, pretty good money. And then they're usually bumped up, for $20, $22, $23 an hour to start. And most do get hired from their internship experience. So a majority of our students do an internship experience, and then most of them have job offers or a job in their field of study before they even walk across the stage at graduation. That's how in demand these types of students are that go into these STEM related careers. And all of these areas are projected to grow by 15% or more from now until 2026 and beyond. And all of this data comes from the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics, and we try to get the most up-to-date data for everybody. But also, you know, I'm out there, I talk to employers all the time, and they often ask, you know, beyond money, you know, what do students, future employees of theirs look for? And oftentimes it is flexibility. So many of the companies we work with, the careers and the jobs involve shifts, and sometimes starting out, that really is helpful to families, because then it's a little easier to balance family and work. And like I mentioned, there's also a variety of career paths. So what you start in, you're able to apply your skills right away and then move up rather quickly, because that's something else we try to stress to employers. When we ask students, what do they look for in an employer? Again, sometimes they say money. Money is important, but often too, they'll share that they want to be able to apply their skills that they learned immediately, and they want to feel as if they're being invested in. So again, whether it's using those skills or being able to contribute in some other way to their employer, that's what's important to students. And in STEM fields, you often get to contribute right away. So there are, many paths to STEM success, and I often like to bust myths as the president of a two-year technical college. You know, we hear a lot of times that there's only one pathway to a successful career, and oftentimes that involves, going for a 4-year degree and then going on to graduate school, and that's not always the case. Many paths exist, including the 2-year pathway. I'll have some examples of some alumni later on in their titles in their STEM fields. Majority of our students, they get a 2-year degree and they go on and they have a wonderful career. But we also have, articulation agreements with some of our, other neighboring institutions, and students do decide to go on. So there isn't any one pathway. It used to be sort of 4 years and that's it. But now, there's a lot more conversation about, your pathway to success and how that can look a little different. Jobs that require, a 2-year degree are not in demand. That's sort of like another myth. So we like to put out there the 1 to 2 to 7 ratio, which is from a great video called Success in the New Economy, that for every occupation that requires a master's degree or more, 2 professional jobs require a college or university degree, and over half a dozen jobs require a 1-year certificate or 2-year degree. So, that's just something that we like to talk, just to talk a lot about. And again, it kind of ties into the first point too, that there's many pathways to a successful career. And then, that last myth there, that, technical careers take place at locations that are dingy, dark, and dangerous, the 3 Ds, I like to call it. And that's why too, I like to get out to industry, and you'll see a lot of my visits to industry out on social media, because I really, really work hard to try to bust this myth above all other myths, because check these places out. It couldn't be farther from the truth. They're bright, they're clean. Again, there's many different career paths at these locations, but this is a variety of employers right here in our backyard. And that's something that we try to shed the light on here, that again, not that there's many pathways to success, but we try to expand everybody's world view of work and what work is, especially if you want to stay in this area. Nothing sort of gets to me more than when people say we just need more good jobs in this area. There are really good jobs. There's good employers. They do exist. And again, the positions pay well. And, we've had two, typically in non-COVID times, we have two career fairs a year, and we have over 80 employers at these career fairs. And again, that kind of lends itself to our high placement rates. And again, our students get jobs in their field of study. So what they come to school for, what they're paying for, that's where they get a job right after they graduate. So if you're thinking about STEM, this is just something that, what we see here at the college, a STEM student tends to prefer hands-on learning over lectures or bookwork. Our hands-on here at Johnson College is over 70% of the students' total coursework. So currently, through the pandemic, we're operating in a hybrid model. So students are still here on campus or out at one of our industry locations, getting their hands-on lab work in, and then our general education and theory classes are being delivered online. But our students they will say time and time again that they love the hands-on learning aspect, and they get to do something different every single day. And, a STEM student, wants to get into the workforce quickly and have an immediate impact. It's like I said earlier, our students share that they want to be able to apply their skills, and STEM students get to do that immediately. And also, thinking about like long-term, this isn't just about, short-term success, but long-term and, kind of caring about long-term earning potential, and also being cost conscious and wants like a little bit of debt upon graduation. Our average student debt is less than a typical, 4-year student debt. So it kind of gives them that freedom right after they graduate. And STEM students typically understand the need for that critical blend of technical and soft skills. And as I've been stressing, they want to be able to apply their skills immediately. But we hear that a lot from employers. Our students come out with a great set of technical skills, but employers, also really look at those soft skills. Can a student talk to somebody that, there are students taking care of their car? Can they explain the problem appropriately? Our students fix and build and heal, so they have to be able to have those soft skills and communicate with, whether it's patients or, like I said, if you're taking care of their car or their house, whatever that is. So soft skills are very important. So this is just kind of, talking a little bit about Johnson College as a 2-year technical college. Our tagline is "We work." We take that very seriously, and we like to say that we work to support STEM and those pursuing STEM careers. So at the college, we really pride ourselves in the exposure that we give students to area employers. As I mentioned, we have a very high in-field placement rate. I know I mentioned before, 70% of the coursework is hands-on. So students feel very confident when they graduate here to be that entry-level technician that can contribute and demonstrate their value to employers immediately. We have a lot of real-world lab experiences. I'd like to say industry is our students' campus, and that proved true even more through the pandemic. While our campus physically had to be closed, we have such great partnerships with area employers that students were able to be out there as part of the essential workforce, finishing, not just finishing their coursework, but also, again, getting that hands-on learning in and being able to contribute to the workforce immediately. And they really took that seriously. They still are. Through the pandemic, they said to me, while the world shut down, they felt like it was their duty to keep the economy going and keep the essential businesses going. And as I mentioned, soft skills, we teach that as part of the coursework, and students feel that they can make an impact immediately. And we talked about, long-term career sustainability. We have a group of golden alumni who've graduated 50 years or more, and they come back and share stories with students, and they mentor them, and they say, you will have a very diverse career path, a very rewarding career path, and one that they're really proud of. And then also too, you stacking credentials. We have opportunities for students to start early in high school, they can get a whole year of coursework if they start in their senior year, and then if they continue on here, they can get a 2-year degree in 1 year. And in some cases, if they're taking a 1-year academic certificate, they can be done as a senior in high school. We've had students who have achieved their 1-year welding certificate. They've earned it before they even graduated from high school. And again, they go right into the workforce. So just a couple of success stories, and just to give you an idea of some of the different titles for STEM related careers. These are all alumni of the college, all women, very diverse backgrounds. We have individuals here that, Kim is now the department chair of our veterinary technology program, and she graduated from here. We have senior production technicians, radiologic technologists, designers, draftspeople, directors of, business development. A lot of, individuals go into sales. So again, a lot of diversity and the types of jobs that exist in STEM related careers. So, and then, this is just, people often ask, just in my career, what does, success look like? And these are just some things that, I feel have served not just me well, but the alumni that I talk to. They sort of all have these things in common. A lot of positive energy. I like to say, be a yes and person instead of a no but person. And whatever the success looks like to you, just don't be afraid to say yes to different opportunities, because you never know where it's going to lead you. I also like to share, be so good that they can't ignore you. That's, I got that advice very early on in my career, and it really has proven true. And also seek out role models and support each other. If there aren't enough seats at the table, we as women need to create them. And we can do that by supporting each other, being there for each other, staying in the workforce, and then making sure that it's not just like us that we're looking out for, but that we are community looking out for each other. And that remember too, that people are always watching, and this goes beyond social media, but sometimes, the daily grind can get to us, and we're working hard, and we feel like nobody is noticing. And just something that, I share with everyone, people are always watching, and people will pull you aside and, talk to you and give you advice and commend you for things when you're least expecting it. So just know that when you do work hard, it will get recognized. And also too, that in all that you do, be in it for the long haul. We can't ever forget about grit and persistence. And again, all of those alumni that I mentioned earlier, they possess these qualities. And, I even look at my own leadership team. 4 out of 6 of my senior leadership team are women. And we all have it in us, again, to create those seats at the table and to support each other. And only you can define your success. I like to say, typically when we look around, nobody else is limiting us. Sometimes we're our own worst critics, and we're the ones limiting ourselves. So I like to say you can sit back and let life happen to you, or you can go out there and make life happen for you. This is it. As far as I know, we only get one shot. So don't be afraid to go out there and live your own success story, because we're all going to be here to support you in that. So this is just some, I know we're going to share the slides. So we have some of the links to some of the articles that I quoted, and definitely if you get a chance, the link there, Success in the New Economy. If you get a chance, please check that out. So that concludes my presentation. I really appreciate everyone being here and listening.
Thank you, Dr. Katie. I think, well, I can tell you from watching the chat that there's a lot of chatter about everything that you've been saying, really from start to finish. Girls interested in your programs, and your advice has been awesome. And I think a lot of our speakers are really aligning to that as well. So thank you for the great advice and letting us get to know you in Johnson College a little bit more, and sharing all of your knowledge. So thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, and if you would stay on, we don't have any questions just yet, but as we go through the panel conversation, some questions might pop up. So if you can stay on with us, we might end up directing a few your way. Thank you. All right, well, we are going to move on to our panel discussion now, and I am super excited to have an opportunity to introduce you to a most impressive group of women who are certainly going to continue to inspire you like Dr. Leonard did today. And I'm going to start the conversation with Allison Dennison. And Allison, welcome, and we appreciate you being here with us today.
Thanks. It's great to be here today to talk to so many, young women that are interested in STEM, and of course for the young men that are on too, get them involved early on. So my name is Allison Dennison. I work for UGI Utilities in the natural gas division. So we serve, natural gas to homes and businesses throughout Pennsylvania. And currently I am the sales manager for the Allentown, Stroudsburg, and Hazleton areas. And so I have a sales team working beneath me, and previously I'd been an engineer with the company and also a project manager. So I use those skills that I've gained in those previous roles to help my team, with new projects that are coming to us through sales. So I graduated from Penn State in industrial engineering in 2007 and have an MBA from the University of Scranton that I earned in 2017. So one thing about me, some of you, if you go to Hazleton Area High School, you may know my husband. Mr. Dennison is a phys ed teacher there. So some of you may have had him in class, or maybe if you're in middle school, you will have him in the future. And then just one little tidbit about an experience I had early on. One of my first training experiences in the field when I was learning electrical design for outdoor lighting. Myself and another woman had gone to a customer's property, and it turned out to be a miniature horse and donkey farm. And so we were in the paddock with the miniature horses and donkeys, and they were biting at my watch, and the owner had to come over and, try to get the animals away from us while we were trying to do our measurements and do our preliminary field design work there. So when you work with the public and out in the fields, you sometimes never know what you're going to encounter. So that was just one little funny story about my training.
Thanks, Allison. That is funny. You never know. Like you said, you never know what you're going to encounter. I liked how Dr. Leonard said something, in one of her slides about, people think that when you get into STEM fields or when you get into, some activities that really align very much with engineering, you might find yourself in some interesting places. I think she said like dark and dingy, and that was like a myth, but I think you just busted that myth and then some. Providing
well, it's very bright there, but
right. Well, if you could look back at, yourself at, the age that these students are now, middle and high school, and, think about, what you were looking forward to and what you were thinking about, what you wanted to do. Can you look back and say, like, I knew I wanted to move in this direction. I knew I wanted to get into engineering. What sort of prompted you to make that decision?
Sure. So when I was in school, I really didn't know that I wanted to be in engineering. There were some engineering courses in high school that I actually didn't even take. I really liked chemistry class. I really liked math class, geometry and calculus, and I liked physics. So I liked the science classes that were, had labs associated with them. And so I knew I wanted to do something that involved those types of classes. But I also took accounting classes, and I really liked that. And I liked being creative. So some things I thought about when I was in school were a marine biologist, a lawyer, which doesn't have to do with math, but a lawyer, an accountant. Those were some of the things I thought about early on, but engineering kind of came later on as I started to investigate a little bit more how some of these interests that I had could come together. So specifically for me, industrial engineering was a combination of business, math, science, and creativity. So, I just kind of took what I was interested in and started from there.
Thanks, Allison. I think that's really helpful advice, because I can imagine a lot of the girls can really resonate with your interests, and being open to where that might take you, I think is part of the battle and the journey at the same time. So thanks for sharing your story. And I'm gonna turn now to Rita Rosario. Hi, Rita. Welcome. Glad you're joining us today.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
So we'd love to hear a little bit about you. Tell us about your background and sort of your career journey, and let us get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, so like I said, my name is Rita Rosario. I work for PPL. As you know, we supply your power. So I am a senior transmission engineer design. What does that mean? I design high voltage power lines on a daily basis. I also manage a program work that would be revolving on maintenance of existing structures and development for new projects. For educational background, I have a variety. So it's not that I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, but I always wanted to learn a little bit of everything to be more diverse. So as Kate mentioned about the importance of 2 years degree, I have two. So I have associate's degree in civil engineering, which I acquired in Puerto Rico. I have an associate's degree in mechanical engineering that I acquired in El Tri-C. I have my bachelor's from Temple in mechatronics, and I have my MBA in project management.
That is an impressive roster of degree programs. I mean, so many of these ladies are, rattling off all the programs. It's very impressive how committed you've been to education, both formal and in some cases informal, right, on the job type of training. You spoke just very briefly about what you do right now. Can you just talk a little more in depth about what your day looks like? What's some of the typical activities you do today in your field?
Mm-hmm. So as of today, I have several projects going on. So as an engineer, you design it, but you also see it while it goes through construction. So sometimes I'm at my desk, AKA home, and working on my designing of the power line. And sometimes I'm out in the field with the construction crews, not overseeing, but being like a partner while they're constructing what I designed. So being like another support team. Not that I'm overseeing their job because that's their expertise. I'm just there as a supporting character. So if there's any questions or comments or something that they think it would be a better approach, I would review it and implement it afterwards. So it's a big span of different activities.
Awesome. Thank you. It sounds interesting, and it sounds like a lot of diversity in your day-to-day. So thanks for sharing a little glimpse into that with us. And so I'd like to introduce next Nargis. I'm going to jump over here and pop you on the spotlight. Welcome. Thanks for being with us today. I was hoping you could introduce yourself to all the ladies here and talk about your education and training as well.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to be here with you all. My name is Nargis Tomasky. I am an assistant professor of IST in Penn State Hazleton. I have a background in computer engineering. I earned my bachelor degree from Iran, my home country. And I have a master's in information technology, also from my home country. And then I moved to the United States to start my PhD in information technology. And I graduated from University of Nebraska, Omaha. And then I moved to Pennsylvania to start my first career as an assistant professor. And I'm teaching mostly computer science, programming languages and software development courses, as well as IST degree courses such as enterprise integration courses due to a variety of levels from freshman to senior levels, and that's what I enjoy. And I also do research, and my research area is online social media analytics mostly big data analytics. So collecting data from Twitter and analyzing the tweets using machine learning approaches to figure out why specific users behave in this way, and basically questions like that.
It's so interesting when you talk about the projects that you're doing, when you taken us through your background, your education and your training, and where you've come. It just shows again sort of the depth of what engineering, where you can end up, right, when you pursue these degree programs. And you've ended up, at least right now, in academia. And so maybe you could talk about your decision to stay in that higher education space and what has attracted you to work in education.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sure. First reason is I really enjoy teaching, because I really enjoy programming, and when I teach something like that to someone and I see that it works and they enjoy it, it's just a very rewarding experience. And I have teaching experience after I finished my master's degree. I taught for a couple of years in my home country, and I got that like to know that that's what I want to do. But for that, as a long-term career, I needed to get my PhD, so that's why I started my PhD. And another reason for that is that apart from enjoying this, like teaching and the experience, I also feel that there are like so much flexibility in terms of when and what I can work on, especially in the research area. So I can basically research on anything, come up with new ideas, and maybe find collaborators. And in academia, you have like possibilities to work with different people in different areas. That's what I'm doing with different professors. I work on, social psychology, professors from that area. So it's kind of like interdisciplinary work that I'm doing. It's not just technical and engineering.
Yeah, that's very evident to me, and I imagine to everybody else. And one of the words, that I've heard you use is, sort of creativity. And, I think we've heard a couple of our speakers talk about that. We tend to all think STEM, we think, math, and we think, science, and we forget about the creative aspect and how important that is. So I appreciate that you brought that into the conversation today, and shared your story. When you look back at yourself, going back many years, did you find that you knew you always had an interest sort of in these subject areas, like when you were in middle school and high school, like we're hearing from some of the other speakers?
Yes, I have. I actually started programming courses when I was in middle school, and that's actually when I knew I want to do something in engineering, most likely computer engineering. So I enjoyed really much math and physics courses, and those were my favorite courses. And another thing was that I was attending like these events like coding and some like mentoring sessions with like I had role models, like people who were our mentors came to our school to have like after hours. We had like Olympiad preparation sessions focused on math and computational like thinking. So I really enjoyed that, and I really am glad I did that. I suggest everyone who is interested, to like to pursue this major, that math is a fundamental of all these like engineering majors. Like I'm really glad I focused on that, and
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your story and giving that advice. That's awesome. I'm going to introduce you to Hyana Nichols. Hello, Hyana. I love your background.
This is my hometown.
And tell everyone what that is.
So this is my hometown. This is in the northeast of Brazil. So I always use this background to remind me that it's summer there now.
So you're a long way from Brazil. But we're happy to have you, and I know Hazleton is lucky to have you. Please let everyone know what you do, and definitely give them an idea of your career journey, please.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Hyana Nichols. I am the Assistant Director of Operations for the Greater Hazleton Can-Do. So you may or may not know that Can-Do is an economic development company, and then our mission is long story short, bring jobs for the area. So where I am there is, so we have some 3 of the biggest industrial parks in the area, my company, and we own and operate the water and wastewater systems for those parks. And that's where I work. I manage the utilities of the company. I have a bachelor's degree in engineering with a focus in energy, renewable energy and power generation that I got from Penn State Hazleton. I also have a teaching degree in physics that I got in my hometown that you see on my background. I actually taught for a little bit over a year there. And then when I came to America, I knew I wanted something else. I knew I wanted engineering, but I wasn't really sure on which one. And I found that that program in Hazleton really aligned with everything that I really liked. And that's how I ended up here, actually.
Hi, Anna, you know, talking about your job a little bit as in the operations area, can you give the girls an idea of, you know, a couple of the things that might be on your plate today? What does a day in the life look like? What are some of the tasks and projects that you're working on?
Sure. We do we have several areas in my department, actually. So we do a lot of project management of all kinds. So for example, right now we are building a road, extending a road in Humboldt Industrial Park. So I'm involved with that. And we also, by managing the utilities, I'm heavily involved on the safe drinking water quality and everything that involves the Department of Environmental Protection and all the regulations that we have to meet. I'm highly involved on that as well. I actually got I'm a Pennsylvania certified water operator, so that gives me the ability to actually change our chemical addition, for example, for the water, for treating the water that everybody drinks in the parks. And so it's really a variety of things. I am definitely never bored.
Yeah, that's awesome. That gives everybody a great idea. And you mentioned some of you know, certificates that you have and degrees that you have. And I think one of the common themes that I've heard today from all of our speakers is sort of that continuous pursuit of education and training. It really never ends, right? I mean, as you take on new roles and new jobs, you're learning new skills, and as the world moves on, we all have to keep up as well. So I can appreciate that, and thank you for sharing your journey.
Yeah, no, most definitely. That's for example, my water certification was never really a plan. It just happens to be the job I do. And then I happen to enjoy, and then, okay, I will take that certification because I want to really pursue that. So everything, I think it's important to mention that you often need to have an open mind too, because sometimes you don't plan. Like I wanted to do solar design, but I'm here in Hazleton, you know, in California, but I'm here in Hazleton doing, you know, water and wastewater, and I happen to really enjoy it. And
sounds like a yes and mentality.
Yeah, I want to pursue the wastewater certification now. So, like I said, it's really good to have an open mind, especially, you know, most of the jobs, we don't really do one thing, as I think Rosario mentioned. She does a lot. All of us, I'm sure we have to deal with a lot of different projects.
Yep. Thank you so much. I love hearing that yes and mentality, and I'd like to introduce everyone to another lady with that sort of mindset. I know. Hi, Ms. Sude. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me.
So we're excited to hear about your journey and you know, take us on your career story for sure.
My name is Mesude Bayrakçı Boz, and the meaning of my name is Happy Woman. So I just want to share with you. And I hold my Bachelor of Science and Master of Science degree in physics in Turkey. And also I got my Master of Education degree in physics education. As you can see, I fell in love in physics in high school, and I pursue that direction. And I taught physics for 4 years on a secondary level. But meanwhile, I always wanted to be engineering. And I was reading an article today about solar PV system, and I said, okay, it's time to go back and get an engineering degree. I came to United States and I got my master and PhD in energy engineering from Penn State. Now I am currently assistant professor of engineering at Penn State Hazleton. And what I do is I love teaching. I teach fundamental engineering courses and energy-focused courses like wind energy and hydropower, renewable energy integration to grid, or nuclear energy, any kind of engineering courses I am happy to teach. And I am doing research mainly focusing solar energy. I am doing some kind of mapping and some renewable energy integration to grid and economic analysis of that. And I am publishing a paper based on my research. And also I am a committee member in different committee like research committee or international student committee. And I am organizing industry guest lecture at Penn State Hazleton, and I love it. I am always happy to meet, new people from industry, from high school, or from different companies or different background.
Thanks, Basude. So that is a very impressive roster as well, and we're thrilled to have you with us to share your story. And one of the things that I, have found most interesting in speaking with you is talking about your experience with mentors and the importance of having mentors in your life. And I was hoping you can share a little bit of that with the girls.
Yeah, I mean, it's finding a mentor, sometimes from a school, sometimes from family, sometimes from community, is very, very important. Not any mentor, a mentor who can understand you, who can encourage you to, follow your dream and show the path you can take. So as you can see from my education, I got physics degree, and I knew that I am going to choose physics in high school, but in Turkey there are Department of Physics and physics engineering. And I was thinking about choosing physics engineering, and everyone said, hey, look, are you going to work in industry? There will be all men, you are going to be only women, and, just think about the arts, you are going to work in the faculty. It's not very good for you. And if I had like 10 person around me, everyone told the same thing. And you are thinking, okay, maybe I can choose this direction. Eventually, I got my engineering degree. I'm happy for that. But just find a person that really can understand you and who can help you. And not just a mentor. Right now, there are so many network opportunities in, local level, national level, or international level. For example, if you are really interested in engineering, and especially if you are in high school, there are, Society of Women Engineering. There are webinars you can join. There are email lists you can receive an email to find out opportunities, scholarship opportunities, internship opportunities, anything. Just be aware and find a mentor or find a network that they can understand you and they can help you.
I love that advice, talking about the network or the community. It can be bigger than a single mentor or, be inside your regional community, but think about your community and your network as being, it could be anything. So I can appreciate that. And I think that's really excellent advice. So we're getting ready to open up to see if there's any questions. I see there's a lot of chat and there's a lot of question and answer going on, which is really awesome. And, girls, if you have questions and you just don't get a chance to ask them today, or you think about them after the fact, there's a lot of ways for you to reach back out to all of our speakers. The speaker guide has contact information for all of these ladies. So you have the ability to reach back out. But, before we close, I just want to give each of our speakers any opportunity, if there is any last advice or something you didn't get to share, a chance to share. So Ms. Uday, we appreciate very much you sharing your experience. Is there anything else that you wanted to share before we?
Yeah, I have one more advice.
Sure.
I mean, in the future, there is a chance that you will hear, hey, you know what? You are here because you are a woman. You know, they hire you because they need to hire a minority and woman. So they hire you. You are here because of only that. And you can doubt yourself for a second, maybe for a few days or for a long time. Don't ever do that. No company, no one is just gonna hire you because just you are a minority or just you are a woman. You are there, you got that position because you deserve it. And yeah, of course, there are policies that, you know, they need to hire minority or woman, and there are so many reasons for that, and we are not gonna here to, you know, discuss the reasons. But just remember, if you are somewhere, you deserve to be there. And because you are minority, because you are a woman, you are gonna bring different perspective to problem. You are gonna create maybe better solution just because of that. Just remind yourself, you are gonna deserve it. Okay, you are there because you are more than good to be there. So don't
Thank you.
doubt yourself.
That's incredible advice. And I think a lot of us can really relate to that and have maybe been in that circumstance. And like you said, many of these girls will find themselves in those circumstances. So I think that's invaluable advice. Thank you. The rest of our panel, if there's anyone else who wanted to jump in with any last advice, I want to give you the opportunity. I don't see any immediate questions other than those being directed. Rita, please.
Okay, so I want to answer a very interesting question. There's in the chat from Steridas. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. So she said, do you think it was harder for you to get to your position today, not only as a woman, but as a woman of color? I know a lot of people in my life think that they cannot achieve what they want as a woman of color coming from a poor background. What an amazing question. Gee whiz, girl, you got this. Okay, so it's funny because I could definitely relate to this. I come from a single parent. My parents divorced at a very young age in my life. So it was only me and mom. So I started to work pretty much since I was 12 years old. I helped clean houses, I babysit, I tutored, I did everything I can to help my mother. And I remember when I was graduating high school, you know, when the amazing questions when your parents ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, you know what, Mom? You know, we're poor, we really don't have much. Why don't I just get a job? And when I'm ready, I could go to college. And my mom, God bless her soul, she's like 5 feet, but I think she like grew 2 feet that day. And she's like, don't you ever say that again. You're gonna go to college no matter what. I'm not joking. She said. So I was blessed that I was in track and field in high school. So I got a scholarship to go to college. And that's how I was blissful enough to start my journey. And also when I was getting my bachelor's, I was working third shift and going to work in the morning. So I would go to work from 9:30 to 6 a.m. And then I would go to school at 8 to 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday. As a woman of color, truly, I never put that in perspective. Like when I go into the room, I'm not thinking that I'm the only woman. I'm the only woman of color. I'm there, as Mersu said, she get a great advice previous to that. You have a different perspective. Don't put that in your mind that I'm the only one that I look like this, or I'm the only woman in the room. You don't have time for that. You're there for a reason, because they know you could do the job. Believe in yourself. That's most importantly as well. Believe that you could do it. Like for example, when I was trying to decide what I wanted to do, a lot of people didn't agree that a woman should be an engineer. And I had a lot of even close family members that told me, and there's nothing wrong in being these other careers that they mentioned, like, why don't you just be a teacher or a nurse or a caregiver? That's a woman's job. And I'm like, well, thank you for your opinion. It's your opinion and I value it, but that's not what I want to do. So you have to be, how you say that, assertive. Like, you make the decision, follow it through. You're going to have to work hard for it, yes. And everybody has a different journey, which is amazing. This is why I love to participate in this, to hear everybody else's story. Your story is going to be unique. Your journey is unique. Don't worry about comparing yourself to anybody else. Your story is your story. I think that's it.
Thank you, Rita. That's no, I couldn't think of better, closing words for this panel. I think you've represented everybody very well here, and thank you so much. Thanks for the great question, Destiny. Got her name fixed up there. And thank you, Rita, for that awesome feedback. So I'm going to take this opportunity to pivot over to one of our sponsor speakers, and I'm going to introduce to you Miss Maddie Hindmarsh, who is representing King's College. Hi, Maddie, welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. So my name is Maddie Hindmarsh. I am the Assistant Director of Admission over at King's College. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit today about King's and all of our programs and opportunities that we have for women in STEM fields. Okay, so to talk a little bit about what consists of Monarch Nation, we have students last year applied from over 41 states that we saw from. The students that actually ended up enrolling from King's are all listed. I'm not going to read through them because I know you can see my screen. We have about 2,400 undergraduate students on campus. With that being said, 80% of those first year students choose to reside on campus, and down the middle, we have an even split this year of 50-50 male and female on campus. There is always something going on. So we're located right in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. With that being said, we're right next to Wilkes University, which is a block away from our school. What separates both institutions in the middle of our campus is Public Square, with always something going on as well. But for students on campus, there is a lot of opportunities for growth and opportunities for leadership roles and different things like that for students really to get involved with day one. So we have over 50 clubs and organizations for students to choose from. If we don't have a club and organization that you are interested, it is so easy for students to start up their own opportunity and own organization. We have 28 NCAA sports, which I will show a slide later on. That way, any of you that are interested in possibly pursuing enrollment into King's can already start to see a little bit of what opportunities we have. We do have volunteer and service opportunities, whether that be locally, nationally, and even abroad. Study abroad is also huge across our campus ministry opportunities, and even multicultural activities as well. On our campus, we have 24-hour computer labs and a 24-hour library located right in the middle of our campus, and computer lab stations are all around. We're actually renovating all of our new library spaces to include all new study rooms and study pods. They're absolutely amazing. What's really nice is all of our residence halls do have Wi-Fi, and it's one Wi-Fi source. So I can take my laptop from the farthest part of our campus and walk to the other part of our campus and still be connected to the same Wi-Fi and not have to constantly keep logging in and logging out when entering into new buildings. We do have on-campus student publications like our school newspaper. We also do have a campus radio station called WRKC. And then we also have on and off-campus activities. To talk about some of our science and STEM majors here on campus. So in our College of Sciences, we have a ton of different majors for our students. And I saw in the chat earlier that students are also even interested in history and, maybe political science and those different types of areas as well. We do have majors. Since today was focused more on STEM, we have slides indicating those. I actually was a political science student at King's, and I also majored in criminal justice. So for those students that are interested in other fields that aren't listed on these slides, please don't feel that we don't have those majors and those opportunities. You can always reach out to us and we'd give you more information. But these are all of our science majors here on campus for students to pursue. We do have also a lot of different pre-advisement tracks for students. So pre-dental, pre-pharmacy, pre-med. If you ever do come for a campus visit with us to start talking a little bit more about all of these programs and majors and what they have to offer, we do get students information also about all of our affiliated schools that we work with. So schools that students go to after King's to pursue maybe going to medical school and those different opportunities as well. This slide shows a little bit of our health science programs. So we actually do have an Alley's Health Science building on campus. This is what's pictured on the screen. The bottom half of the screen actually is Chick-fil-A in the window section there, which is an on-campus opportunity for students. We do have 2 5-year master's programs in our health sciences. So our 2 5-year master's programs are athletic training and then physician assistant. Also in our sports medicine department, we have an excellent exercise science program with 3 different tracks for students if they wanted to pursue applied exercise science, physiology track, which is like PT, and then also even a pre-chiropractic track as well. We do also have a 4-year nursing program where students can receive their BSN by the time they graduate. Also newer programs on campus. So we do have an engineering program that's outstanding. What's pictured on this slide is actually our Mulligan Center of Engineering. It was just built finally last September. State-of-the-art technology in all of the buildings. What's really nice about all of our science programs is, so although you're coming into a class size of around maybe 600 to 700 students every year, class sizes on average are around 18 students, and our lab spaces are capped off all around 15, which is amazing because we really want you to get to meet all of our faculty, get to work with them one-on-one, and even get to use all of the technology and sources that we have for you as students on campus. But our engineering programs, we have 2 4-year in-house programs, one in civil and one in mechanical, and then we also have these 3+2 programs. We are a part of the Congregation of Holy Cross, so our sister school and university that we're affiliated with is the University of Notre Dame. So we do have these 3+2 programs with Notre Dame, and then we also have an agreement with Washington University out in St. Louis. The way the 3-2 programs function is that you can do 3 years at King's, where you'll get your bachelor's in one area, and then you'll go to either Notre Dame or Washington U to get a second bachelor's degree in that specific engineering field that you're looking for. To talk a little bit about KCY, so King's College Women in Science and Engineering is a program that was actually started not very long ago on campus. We felt a lot of students wanted to be a little bit more empowered to join some of these science fields. So what the program does is it offers different professional programs, social activities, and you'll even get to engage with all of our professors and mentoring groups throughout your time here at King's as well. We try and separate you in groups by major, but you'll have an advisor within those small mentoring groups as well. Why a student would want to join KCYs? Honestly, to build a better network with all of the professionals in the STEM fields that we have at King's. There definitely is a lot of valuable sources of information that you're going to be getting through the KCYs program. Professional development opportunities are through KCYs all the time, and then they also do just support and empower women in the STEM fields. To talk a little bit about athletics, so we are an NCAA Division III school. We're part of the Middle Atlantic Conference. These are some of our athletics that we do offer on campus. Some of our newer ones, men's volleyball, women's golf, and even esports now is on campus. We actually just built a new gaming arena on campus for our students to enjoy. I definitely want to take one of those gaming chairs. They're so cool. I absolutely love it. And then dining opportunities. So King's College dining, there's 5 dining options. King's Court is our main dining hall on campus for students. There's multiple stations that students can go to. Basically one swipe in King's Court for a buffet style of all you can eat. The food is really good. Connerton's Cafe and Susquehanna Place are actually 2 on-campus eateries for students. I did mention earlier in our Alley Health Science building on campus, we have a Chick-fil-A, and then Monarch Mart also is one of those opportunities, kind of more grab and go. If you ever were to need anything in between classes or after class hours, you can always go to Monarch Mart and purchase whatever you need. This picture is actually Hessel Hall. So this is our office of admission. This is where I work. It is a building that was first originally founded with Kings. If you do ever want to come for any visit opportunities, definitely follow us on social media. You'll get to see a lot of the amazing opportunities that we have on campus. We do actually have an Engineering Your Future event coming up as well in December. It's an in-person event. It's completely faculty-led. And we also are open for in-person visits during the week as well, Monday through Friday. In the spring, we also have some Saturday visit opportunities too. So please take advantage of that. I know the contact on the screen says Sean Loyak. She is the admission counselor for all of our Pennsylvania areas. So please feel free to either reach out to her, or if you'd ever like to get in touch with me as well, if you send an email to the admissions@kings.edu, I'd be happy to help in any way that I can. Perfect.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Monarch Nation, all this stuff is right under our noses. And, you know, I encourage the girls to explore all of our local colleges and universities. We also are going to be hearing, right now I'd like to turn it over to Amber Zuber from Lehigh Carbon Community College. And if you'd like to share a little bit about Lehigh Carbon Community College, it's over to you, Amber. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. I think Valerie's going to share our slides. Okay, thank you. And we also have one of my colleagues who's the executive director of our admissions team, Elia, on the Zoom with us as well. So my name is Amber Zuber. I'm the site director for our site in Tamaqua, which I think is the site that's probably geographically most closest to those of you who are participating today. And then if Elia wanted to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. It's always hard, you know, being the last in a program, hard to kind of capture everyone's attention. But I think, you know, Lehigh Carbon Community College is a great opportunity, and we'll talk a little bit about it. So my name is Elia Sablan Zebedee. I'm the executive director of enrollment at LTRIC. And I wish I had my Pacific Ocean, you know, background, because some of the backgrounds were very interesting. From the panelists and the speakers. So yes, nice to meet you all.
And I think we have a slide with an embedded video that we'd like to share.
All right, sorry about this, trying to launch for you here.
I will beat all expectations. I will run a.
Oh, it's trying to make it bigger, but it stopped it, so I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I will beat all expectations. I will run a hospital.
I will think for a living.
I will be a mad scientist.
I will eat more chocolate.
I will not fear the future. I will wear something stupid tomorrow.
I will smile.
I will get my butt in gear.
I will have a restaurant.
I will release a primal yelp.
Ow! Woo! I will see the world.
I will explore. I will get it done.
I will own my own business.
I will have a building named after me.
I will.
I will.
I will.
I will. I will love what I do.
Thank you. So, you know, that's one of a video from our Aspire collection. I do want to point out some key important factors about Lehigh Carbon Community College. So as a community college, number one, the affordability piece. You know, our students, when they leave us with an associate degree, they save up to 70% of their educational expenses. So 2-year at a community college such as LTRIC, and then we've got articulation agreements with almost, you know, over 50 universities, you know, throughout Pennsylvania. And we've heard from some of the faculties as we're building these articulation agreements with, let's say, Penn State or the Sales or Temple University, you know, we're hearing from the faculty saying, oh, you know, that student that transferred to us from your community college, they're really prepared because, you know, they've pack down their foundation at a community college, and then spending the last 2 years at a 4-year institution really helps the student kind of get through navigate all the different changes as you're progressing from high school into a higher institution. So number one, affordability. Number two, transferability. So like I said, from Lehigh, all of the credits that you earn, whether it's 60 or 62, a lot of the institutions that we partner with, will take all of those credits with them. And so you're not spending a lot of money at those 4-year institutions. The other piece is last year we were granted a federal scholarship called STEM scholarship. And this is not only a scholarship, it's a cohort. So if you come in, for instance, in the fall, you sort of are with a group and you have all kinds of activities that you do throughout the year. You have a mentor that reaches out to you every so often, and then you guys get to do activities. So the 2 career pathways that we wanted to kind of share with you is the computer science and information technology, and the science and the engineering. So under the computer science and information technology, for instance, we have computer forensics and digital security. So if you're thinking, FBI and the cyberspace, all that tracking, you can come into the programs under this track. Other majors under computer science and information technology is computer specialist, network technology, computer specialist, web design and development. There are 11 majors under this career pathway. And under science and engineering, we have 9 majors. So those of you interested in biology, we have chemical technology, chemistry, engineering, environmental science, mathematics, physics. And these can get you into jobs like, being a biologist or a teacher or a professor, a data analyst, an engineering, chemical engineer, and so forth. So we think number one, affordability. You get the best, bang for your buck by coming into a 2-year college, and then transfer out to a 4-year institution, and you get a bachelor degree from that institution that you're graduating from, and then you save money, and then you get into all these activities. For instance, with the STEM cohort, students who are who have a mentor and all of that stuff. So just then, if you're interested in Lehigh Carbon Community College, we've got an upcoming event in admissions and financial aid, and it's a virtual session. The next one is December 3rd. We have one this week, but maybe too close for you guys. December 3rd from 3 to 4 p.m. And like I said, admissions will talk about the enrollment process. Financial aid will talk about how to complete your FAFSA and so forth. And I just saw Amber put in the link for our event. So if you're interested, I'm certainly in these virtual sessions. So if you're interested, sign in and we'll see you then. All right. I think, Amber, would you like to add?
No, just that Kathy and Valerie have our contact information. So if anybody had any further questions, I'd be happy to, talk through any questions with you. You can always call me here at the Morgan Center in Tamaqua.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that great information. Students and participants, just if you go to your, you have all the information. If you go to your program booklet that you've gotten in the emails, if you just click on the link inside the program booklet to each of the the colleges and universities, it will take you right to their website. So you can reach out. If you have any trouble, please just email myself at Partners in Education. You have all that info. I want to thank everyone for participating again today. We had some great advice. We heard from some fantastic presenters. I just can't say enough to thank all of you for participating and sharing that information with us. So I know everybody wants to probably get back to their classes. So I just want to announce we have 3 door prizes today. So we have 2 from King's and we have 1 from El-Chi-C. And as I was working my magic behind the scenes, as you were all listening, so our engineering gear from King's College is going to Kiera Kupcho, and our other door prize from King's College is going to Nadia M, and our cool gifts from El-Chi-C are going to Emily Hoffman today. So young ladies, I will reach out to you through your email address that you registered for, and I'll get your mailing address and you can get that stuff. You'll get your gifts right from the schools. As always, the video will be up on our website and Facebook within a day or 2, so you can catch that. And please, I encourage you to reach out to any of our speakers, ask them questions for support. We will see you again back here on Thursday at 1:30 to 2:40 on Thursday, and that will be our math panel. So if you love math, you'll get to hear from women in all kinds of different math careers, so you can figure out, I love math, what can I do with it? Stay tuned. Have a great week. Bye, everybody.